Welcome to another week on the Smallholding, and today we're starting off with a hay delivery. He's just been and dropped them off, and it was a new guy, bless him, so he knocked on the door and said, where should I put them, because there's a car in front of the barn. I was doing the chicken feed, putting the chicken feed away that I've just bought, and I hadn't moved my car. I drove the car right to the barn, so it's less distance to have to carry the chicken feed, and then got busy with something else. So he said, where should I put them? And I said, just pop them there, we've got to clean the barn out anyway. So that is what's on tonight's list of things to do. We've just had an absolutely delicious roast dinner, which was actually our own pigs, so our own pork, which I'm really pleased about. Just closing this gate so the chickens don't go in there and start eating things. Yeah, it was absolutely delicious. So that's one of the shoulders of pork that we had tonight. So that's all done and cleaned away. Now we need to get busy. We've got probably about an hour's worth of light, I think. Maybe a little bit longer. It's been quite a bright day today, but it was raining actually this morning and overnight really heavy. So there's your weather report. Now I'm going to get busy because that barn is absolutely a disgusting tip. So this is the state of the place thanks to these. Do you remember those cute little chicks that we had? Well, they've grown up into big messy birds, and these are the reason. These are to blame. I'm only kidding, they're too nice to blame. But they have made the barn an absolute disgrace while I've been left to roam in here and nobody's been keeping an eye on the place. I think I see an egg over there in the distance as well, actually. So this is what I'm going to get busy with. I've got all of this floor to tidy up, and really we need to figure out where these hens are going to go long term, because we've got 2 other chicks outside, so I think it's about time they were all reunited now. Just started sweeping and I had to come back and get my phone to show you this. These hens used to lay in the same place, and now I've not had eggs for a few days. This is why. Just about to sweep up and look. At least 2 days worth there, so I might find some more. She was laying over here. You can see the indentation maybe there, and she was laying there, and I thought maybe she's laying behind, but she wasn't. But anyway, that's why. So Stephen can have his eggs for breakfast.
Put them together, it'll be alright.
Go on, shout her.
Yeah.
Lydia,
Come on.
that'll do, stay just there. Yes, Sonny. Madam, bit off for you. So that's the hay I'll put in the barn, and we've given them a little bit. I haven't got too much because you don't want to start giving them too much and end up with digestive problems. So just a little bit's enough for tonight. You having fun, Rodney? I've got my partner in crime with me. The kids are helping. Stephen is busy working on the chimney. We've got a chap round to help put a new liner in and rebuild whatever needs rebuilding. I'll show you all of that later. I won't interfere now while they're super busy. It's been a sad few days. We're going to move on a little bit and we're going to have a busy weekend. Today is Saturday and I've got lots to get done. We've got chickens to move and straw to put down because of the amount of rain that we've had. So let's get busy. So Grace has been busy filling this. She's cleaned it out and filled it with fresh straw. This is just a normal chicken house, so I just hope our cockerel can fit in there because he's a big lad. This is where the ducks were, so if you remember there was a pond there where you can see the empty hole. The Brahmas will be absolutely fine except for where it's a bit muddy because of the feathered feet. So Grace is going to go and get some more straw and just sprinkle it across the floor in here because it's not ideal, but it's better than where they are at the minute. Rodney's, what are you digging at? And then she's going to move them down. Obviously they need food and water, so we're going to hang a feeder from here, get a waterer in, and it's got nice coverage in here, so hopefully it'll stay dry, but we'll have to just keep an eye on it. I think this is from when the sheep got in. I don't know. I have to keep an eye on that. They've been gnawed away. Anyway, so it's looking good. Great job, Grace. This is why nothing ever stays tidy. These hens just scratch everything out of there. That needs emptying. But I haven't got round to it just yet. This is the chick, do you remember? And then the younger one catching up. Rodney, are you bored? Good boy. You're not chasing those chickens, are you? So this carpet, you may be wondering, why have we got carpet in here? This is for the horses coming in. So the carpet is essentially for the older horse. So this is her stable. And when she comes in, sometimes she slips and she gets herself all worried. This floor isn't ideal. It's a smooth floor, so it can get a little bit slippy. So if she gets herself, she panics sometimes when she's going in the stable, and she did slip and she's fell, and obviously that was awful. So we've just put the carpet down because it just helps her get a grip. It looks awful, and we haven't used a carpet cleaner on it, so we just sweep it off when we do the barn. But unfortunately, with the chickens being in here, it just stains and looks a mess, but that's not the point. It's practical and it's really good for her. That's looking better. So next job in the barn, when we come round to the next jobs, is empty this, empty that crate that was used for poolie animals, and that can all go on the muck heaps. What I've done here at the back is just lock these hens in because Grace is going to move them to where she's just cleaned out and where she's just put the new straw and everything, reunite them with some other ones. This black one here is escaped. She needs catching and putting back. And then this enclosure here is just like a brooding sort of station that we use. That can just go out of the way, but it's a two-man job to move it. And then these stables have still got the divider in from when the sheep were in here. So we're going to need to unscrew that, get those taken out. And then this stable here has just got a little bit of, I don't know where that pole's come from, but a little bit of straw in from when the hens were an egg. I've only just got these out of here this morning, so they've literally been in to lay another egg, bless them. So I shall have that. But all of this needs cleaning out because there's be no hens in here from tonight, and then we can get the beds in. Obviously get all this nice and clean, nice and fresh bedding for the horses coming in for the winter. We won't put the beds in just yet because they're not coming in just yet, but at least it's there if the weather takes a really bad turn and we need to bring them in. So that's a good job done. These hens need to be out. I don't know where Rodney's gone. And where have you been? You look very happy with yourself. Sit down. Goodbye. Goodbye. We've got these fantastic aubergines for this week and a whole tin or a whole bowl of tomatoes there to use. So this is a really good haul. Another huge aubergine there. So I'm really pleased with those. They're going in moussaka. We're having these tomorrow night. I'll use some of the tomatoes for that as well. So I'm really pleased about that. And I'm also getting some of these yin yang beans. They're not dry yet. You leave them to dry on the plant. And I'm going to use these for my seed for next year, so we won't be eating them, be drying them out and using them for seed next year. And then I want to build up a stock of these. You can see this one is still super squishy, so that's no good. It's not dry basically, so that'll just go mouldy and rot if we leave it like that. Now I just want to show you quickly what happens with them. This is blossom end rot that I didn't catch, and it's been ripening. I've seen this side thinking that looks absolutely amazing, and on the bottom's got blossom end rot. So this will still be fine for the chickens, but that's what it looks like when a tomato with blossom end rot has ripened. Do you remember the basil? This is the English or British, I can never remember what it's called, British basil. Nowhere near as well, it hasn't germinated as well as the other basil. This is going to come up well, so I'm hoping to get plenty of basil for drying out, but also this is the parsley. I'm going to give it a little water now because it's looking a little bit dry, but basil doesn't like it too wet, I've noticed, so I have left this on the dry side. We're back in the bottom where Grace is done, and we've just brought the chickens down, and so they're just being reunited, and we're keeping an eye on them because there's chicks, young chicks that were already in here, but there's also the chicks that I showed you that were in the barn that are a little bit bigger. So we just need to make sure the cockerel's nice to them. So that's what we're waiting to see at the minute. Let me show you. Got a little bit of straw down just to give him something to peck through. He's coming over now, so we're just going to keep an eye. It's fine that he's coming over, he's just coming to investigate. Normally we should put these in on a night, but to be honest, they're quite easy to catch because they're obviously so heavy, and we'll be able to put them in the coop to put them away. If there's a problem, we'll have to take them back out and put them in on a night. So let's just see how this goes.
Be nice, Chuck.
Yeah, he's called Chuck. Chuck the cockerel. Now, while he's thinking about that, this is the water is on the floor. The feeder, actually, we can't put it any higher because of the chicks, but ideally we would have that a bit higher so that the rats aren't encouraged to use it. It's fine for now though. This cockerel has been quite good previously. He's not shown signs of aggression, so fingers crossed. She's running away from him. She's telling her chick to do the same. We don't know if the boys are girls, the chicks. Grace thinks the boys. The only problem we may have, if this one is a boy, that they'll end up fighting. Grace thinks that one's a boy as well, just because of the colouring's the way it's worked out so far, but we'll see. Now where's the other one? She's up here. In the corner up there. And I just check on her, Grace. She's got a bit of a... Oh, she's got a chicks underneath her, that's why. I was going to say she looks a bit fluffy, but did you... The other girls' chicks. Taking care of each other. That must be the auntie. Just so you know, this white hen, or what was a white hen, is not dying. She's absolutely loving that she can mud bath down here. So you can see they're already getting into the dirt here is really loose. So they'll love that. And this hen here is having the time of her life. Stretching out. Look at the colour of her. Oh my goodness. And also one last thing, the cockerel, we don't know what's happened to his tail feathers. He's got one at the moment, so whether the girls have put him in his place, we don't know. Maybe he's just molting, but he's totally fine. And this in here will make it a lot easier for me to be able to collect the eggs, because as you saw, this just opens up nice and easy rather than the one that they're in at the minute, which we can't really fit in. Bad design from when live and learn. Right, Grace's going to keep an eye on them. I'm going to go and get some lunch ready. I've eaten. We've had pea soup. I made pea soup and the homemade bread. You can see still pea soup everywhere. The reason I'm laughing is I can hear Stephen getting told, put in his place by the chap. The chap's come to help do the chimney. He's got his own company and everything, but the only he could do today, but he didn't have the extra help that he needed. So Stephen said, "Don't bring extra help. I'll be your help." He's really putting him in his place. I've never heard him be called son for a long time. They've asked for a cup of coffee, so I'm going to get this cleaned up, make them a cup of coffee, and then get busy outside. Well, the chimney's finally done. Let me show you what they've got up to. I've got nothing else done yet because I had somebody pop round and I've been having a catch up and a chat with them. But Stephen, bless him, has been super busy. So we're going to show you what we've got done, and hopefully that means that at least the chimney is fixed so we can use that room, even though we've still got the Aga that needs to get finished. So the fire apparently had been set too far forward and wasn't legal anymore. And to cut a long story short, it's set really far back now because the flue or the positioning and how they had to do it. It couldn't be done where it was previously. So now we've got it set further back. But to be honest, I quite like it. It turns out there are two. There's this brickwork here and then a different brickwork further back, which we did know, but we hadn't really taken much notice of. Anyway, all of this is now fixed. Stephen's just doing the last tidy up of the fire, ready to use. So Stephen's just putting the last bits together. Apparently this part here, which you have on the door and you turn to allow the airflow, the chap was saying that it's not just for show, which I think we thought, but anyway, he's fixed it and Steve's just putting it back in now. So this should be ready to use tomorrow, and it's a really good timing, all ready for winter. So hopefully we can get the rest of this room sorted out, because there's nothing else in here at the moment except Annie Bear. And that takes us to the end of today. So that is a really good job done. Well done, Stephen.
Cheers. So that's working perfect now. So he said when you're burning coal, you use this valve to open it up, because coal burns from the bottom, and if you're burning wood, you use the upper one because wood burns from the top, apparently. So every day is a school day.